Hi, welcome to Classic Car Cave. So this is the final install of the 1100 Mini Special. As I said, it's now back in Croatia. Everything seems to be good, seems to be no problems with it. There's a few little teething issues which actually they've sorted out themselves, just small things but annoying things, especially when you're doing such a big build. So what I've done is it's taken me quite a bit of time, because I'm not very good with computers, to go back over the old ones over the last 9 months. That's basically how long the car's been here, since its accident, or since Jeremy brought it. And it's detailing all the stuff. So what I've tried to do is find the old footage and then put some of the new stuff with it, the kind of before and after. So I hope you can, I hope it's understandable, all the work that we had to do. Now, it works out in pure hours. 139 hours we put into this car. Now that might seem quite a lot, but in fact it's really not. There's quite a lot of hours I didn't count. I certainly didn't count a lot of my hours, especially in trying to get this design of the back and a few other ideas that we came up with, because I saw that as a bit of an exercise for me, keep the old grey matter going. But in total, it still was a lot of hours, but there was an awful lot of damage to this car. And I think you need to watch the whole video to appreciate how much damage there actually was, and how much repairs were done, and how much spare parts went into it. So I think this will be a bit of a shock to my viewers, and I think it might even be a shock, I'm pretty sure it will be, to Jeremy and Toby, because it's an awful lot of money that's gone into this car. But it's a car that they love. They've enjoyed it. After we repaired it 3 or 4 years ago, when they brought it from England initially, they've really enjoyed it. They love running around in it. It's perfect for what they want in Croatia. And as I say, it's only used 3 or 4 months of the year, maybe 5. I don't know exactly how many months, but it's obviously different parts of the year when they've got family and friends coming or whatever. But it's very dear to them, so to them it's worth it. And I think this is what you need to look at with something like this. Classic cars are a money pit. I don't care what it is. At some point it'll go up a bit, or you can guarantee they'll always go down, that's for sure. But if it's something you love, something you enjoy, you've got to look at it that way. And I also think that in the condition this car was in, I believe it, and I think Jeremy agrees, if they'd taken it back to the UK, they might as well have written it off, because the cost would have been unbelievable. And if you look at the cost, the way I've done it, and the parts, and bearing in mind they paid directly for the parts, there was no 20% or 30% loaded on by a dealer or by a garage. They paid exactly what the customer pays over the counter. So I've got the figure here with me. As I said, you might be quite surprised. So I'm going to break this down for you, so you can see where the money's gone, and I'll give you the total. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the total somewhere in the middle of the video, so that you watch it. I would really like you to watch it to understand where all this money has gone. So I will flash up the total amount somewhere in the video, but I'm only going to put it up for about 20 seconds. So if you don't want to see the total, or you miss it, you'll have to go back and look again. So I'd advise you to watch the whole thing. It's not very long, 12 minutes, whatever. So in hours, we did 139 hours in total, and we charged £25 an hour, which is well below even the smallest garage in the world. I won't say back street, but the smallest garage in the world will still be up in the 45, 50s at least, so it's double that. So if you work that out, it would be double the amount of labour probably, or possibly we're not as efficient. And as I said, if you work that out 8 hours a day, it's 17 days. Now we didn't do that obviously, because we were waiting on parts. We had months when we were waiting for bits and this, that and the next thing. And that came to a total of £3,475 for the complete repair. The parts alone, and this is just the main parts from mini spares and the bits we needed for the car, were 3,961. So that gives you a figure of 7,436. But on top of that, which is something I just found out, just realised this morning, is Toby bought the interior for the car for £1,000, I remember Jeremy, when I went down, I was going to the UK to pick up some stuff for myself, and I also picked up the parts for the car to save customs and messing around and all that. And he was good enough to give me half the money, so I paid one way, he paid the other. And that was another 400 or 500 quid, I can't remember exactly. So the total figure is, start at the front here. You can see obviously that bottom valance has been badly stoved in there, and it's particularly bad in that corner. I think we might be able to pull that out, but we'll see. It's quite badly creased in that corner. What I want to avoid, if possible, is a paint job on it, but we can do that bottom piece in black, or we can repaint it back in the silver, depending on how it is. Obviously the bumper's mashed, no big problem there, but obviously you can see where it's coming away from the lip there. So that's one thing. Bumper again, as I say, no problem to change. You can see when he went over the rock or whatever it is. Sorry about the sunlight coming, there's not much I can do about it, but you can see that the cooling fins on the gearbox has been hit, but fortunately they're so thick that it hasn't actually broken them, it's just mashed them. So what we'll do there is we'll file them and get them clean. There has been quite a bit of oil leak from this, so taking the engine out, which we have to do anyway, is kind of helping us, because we can look at everything on the engine. So without a doubt the subframe is goosed, it's badly bent. This is completely torn off. If we try to weld this back on, even with a new tie bar in place, the weld will be strong, but the problem, sorry about the sunlight guys, but the problem is the weld will be strong, but either side of the weld will be weaker, and that's where it will shear. So we're going with a new subframe. There's a few issues on the back which I can show you as well. So you can see all the front's done now, all the apron. That was really badly smashed up, the apron on the front. And this wing was particularly bad. We were lucky that we managed to be able to pull it out. And obviously underneath. But it's looking 100% on what it was. I think you can see from there that there is quite, this ramp is absolutely straight. I think you can see that gearbox bottom is further down on the right than it is on the left. And that's, I think, due to the bending in the subframe. There's quite a bad bend here, but where the worst area is right here. Now you'll be able to see that that's completely ripped and buckled the floor pan. We may even need some new pipes as well, some brake pipes, but you can see it's completely buckled, that pan, and there's quite a bit of rust corrosion under it. If you look here, you can see how bad it is. I hope that's showing up. And here it's completely torn away from the cross member. So it basically needs a complete new floor pan in it. You can see it's ripped there underneath it's ripped right into the cross member, and now she's dented all the way down. So we'll put a complete new one side floor pan in that, and obviously a new subframe and quite a lot of other bits and pieces. But as I say, you can see the damage is the buckle is quite huge there. Yeah, it's not good. Now, going on from there, I'll turn this off. Going on from there, as I said, we'll change these tie rods, these basic straight tie rods, and we'll put adjustable tie rods in it. We're going to change to gas suspension, which is adjustable. We're going for a high-low kit, and we're going to put new cones in it as well, but they're upgraded cones for a better ride. And so this might be a little bit difficult to get out, but we'll do our very best to see what we've got. But we have to take the engine and front off it first to be able to see where we are, because I do believe that there is, hang on, see if I can get this on. Yeah, I don't think it's going to show because there's too much light coming in. But there you can see where the toe board is. The toe board I think is out of whack, but it hasn't affected the bulkhead. So when we put the new floor in, we'll redo that toe board and make sure everything's okay. It's all been done now, body colour. Okay, we've changed the rocker cover. Put a new aluminium radiator in it. And this has got Evans Classic 180 cool in it now. as opposed to water, because they don't use it, they only use it for 3 or 4 months of the year, and it doesn't drop out in the radiator. And the proof of that is my E-Type, which has had it in for 8 years. It's never lost any, and the hoses are as good as the day I put it on. Expensive to initially put in, but I think well worth it. There's 2 schools of thought. You know, the old school is, well, water and coolant, but the problem is it settles out if you don't use the car. So if it's a classic car and you don't use it regularly, it will drop out. The sediment will go in the bottom of the radiator and it will choke it up, and it creates rust because it's water and steam, and you don't get that problem. It's the pressure drop, I think, for me, apart from the inhibitors in it, but I like the pressure drop is so massive that it really helps the engine, especially an old classic engine. But I think you'd have to agree that's 100% on the way it was. As far as the underneath is concerned, you can see how much nicer it looks now. Obviously we haven't done the back end. The only thing we've done is put the new fuel pump there, mounted it onto this rubber mountings, and obviously it's got the high-low suspension and the gas. So as we go along, you can see that's the new floor here. It's all new floor. I think it's fairly hard to see where it was, but you can see that this is cleaner than that side. But that's where right across there is where it is, and all that was completely replaced. Again, you can see how nice it all is. New steering rack. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, and that came out really well, I think, up there, considering how stoved in that was. It was in pretty poor shape. Tracking's all been done. You can see here it looks really nice on the edges. All that inner wing was stoved in as well, and that heel board, that toe board there, was pretty badly damaged, but you can see everything is new. Not everything, but pretty much. So yeah, it was a lot of work. I think that floor's come out really nice, considering. So yeah, very happy with that. I think they should be too, man. I'll put it on the ramp when they come so they can see it for themselves. You can see how bad that was up in there. All done. Very strange design. So what they've got is basically you take this bolt out here, take that piece with the frame. There's a cut there, so obviously that piece then folds either down that way or that way, and then there's a hoop in there. There's a piece goes inside it which comes off, and that must lie down there, which again looks a bit strange because that would then lie on here somehow. I think we could do something with that, make that better. If that was me, there's enough gap there where you can put your finger in it. I would have took that off there and put the tube directly onto that and not have that sticking out, but maybe because of the width of the canvas it has to be on that way. I'll check it. Anyway. So the total figure is £8,836, and it's probably nearer £9,000 because there's probably about 170 quid that we haven't here and there for fuel, this and that, consumables, you know, they go. So the total cost is probably nearer £9,000, and you might say, well, that's an awful lot of money for a Mini, which it is, but the car now is in tip-top shape. The bodywork's good, everything's done, the engine's been done, it's got a new front subframe, or complete new suspension, new floor in it, I mean, the work that's been done, you need to look at yourself through the video. So that's the total is, as I said, it's 8,836 officially, but it's probably nearer £9,000.
A little test drive, put some petrol in it.
well is the clutch is very low on it, so you might stall it first few times.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you'll soon kind of get used
That's
to
a
it.
lot nicer. I prefer a lower clutch anyway. I mean,
So to finish up, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the series of videos we did on this 1100. It was quite a challenge. An awful lot of work done, a lot of hours put into it, a lot of thinking. And I want to thank Jeremy and Toby for being so really good about it. I mean, they've been perfect. Everything we talked about, we discussed. We changed some things, we moved some other things around. But generally, they were willing to go the whole hog. And it's very, very rare that you get somebody like that that's prepared to put this kind of money and this kind of time and effort into it. And I try to do the same my side. I try to put the time and the effort and the ideas into it, and they're very, very happy with the car. I hope they have many, many, many years of staying in love with it and enjoying it and getting the best from the car. But on that note, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and be good to each other. Take care, everybody. Bye.